Once upon a time, they were two brothers. Please listen and learn something from it. On this day, today, I am going to tell you one of my favorite stories. It's a story about two brothers who lived in the state of Ohio. The older brother was Frank, he was 20. The younger brother was Eddie, he was 18. Frank and Eddie were always together. They were real brothers. Real friends. One day, Frank and Eddie decided to join the army. They wanted to be soldiers. They wanted to fight for their country. Well, that's just what they did. Frank and Eddie joined the army, they became soldiers. When the brothers left home, they both promised their mother that they would try to keep together, and each brother promised that he would look after the other. Well, everything went fine. Frank and Eddie were sent to the same camp. They were in the same company. They trained together. They marched together. They worked together. They ate together. They slept in the same tent. So far, the two brothers had kept the promises that they made to their mother. After months of training, Frank and Eddie were sent across the sea, and sure enough, Frank and Eddie crossed the ocean in the same ship. The brothers were still together, still keeping the promises that they made to their mother. One night, when the brothers were in a far-off land, an order was given that, the next day, the soldiers would go into battle. So, early the next morning the soldiers were on their way. About 10 o'clock they met the enemy. Oh, it was a hard battle. A bloody battle. For 6 hours both sides fought hard, but our men were too strong for the enemy. 6 hours of terrible fighting, but the stars and stripes came out on top. Now what about Frank and Eddie? Well, when the battle was over, Eddie was missing. Soldier carrying soldier, something seemed to strike Frank right in the heart. He shook from head to foot. Where was Eddie? Where was Eddie? Something had to be done. He had to find Eddie. Frank helped his companions take care of the wounded. He went from one wounded soldier to another, but there was no Eddie. He called out Eddie's name, but there was no answer. But Frank didn't give up. He knew that Eddie was somewhere and he was bound to find him. Frank searched for an hour, and finally, he found a soldier who was covered in blood. The soldier was Eddie. Eddie had been wounded and was about to die. Just before he breathed his last, Eddie looked up at his faithful brother and smiled. Frank, he said, you didn't disappoint me. I knew you'd come. A little boy finds it hard to learn arithmetic. He studies at home and works hard in school, but somehow, he just can't get arithmetic. The examinations are coming and he doesn't want to fail. That boy knows someone will help him. So, what does he do? Every night after school, that little boy goes over to the church. He kneels down in front of the altar, tells Jesus that arithmetic is hard for him, and begs Jesus to help him. And what does Jesus say to that little boy? You didn't disappoint me. I knew you'd come. Sunday after Sunday you come to Mass, yes, and many of you children come to Mass during the week. It's hard to get up in the morning, but you get up and come anyway. You come because you know that the Mass is the best prayer. You know that the Mass will bring you lots of grace. At the middle of Mass, a bell rings. The priest raises Jesus high up over your heads. You look up at Jesus and Jesus speaks to you. What does Jesus say? You didn't disappoint me. I knew you'd come. Someone is sick at home. Perhaps, your father and mother are worried about something. Perhaps, you want something for yourself. You need help. You need the help of a friend, the help of a real friend like Jesus. What do? You receive Jesus in Holy Communion. Then, before you even ask for anything, how does Jesus show you that he is your friend? Why, his very first words fill you with hope. You didn't disappoint me. I knew you'd come. Be your brother's keeper.